Okay. Cool. So how to get high paying clients who actually pay you what you're worth. Title of this presentation, it's what we're going to be really diving into. Let's start with the premise and kind of the big problem here. So there's really only two reasons why your dream clients aren't hiring you right now. It's two pretty simple reasons. Number one is they don't know who you are. And number two is they don't trust that you're going to bring them the ROI that they want to see. So everything we're going to really talk about today boils down to these two kind of problems. Stefan, anything you want to add to those?
Yeah, I just think that it's a really important point. Because if the client, and we're talking about a little bit more, but if a client doesn't know who you are, then obviously they're going to hire you. But the ROI thing is huge too, right? Because if I believed in my heart of hearts that every single time I gave you $1, I was going to get $3 back, I would give you $1 every time, right? I'd give you $100,000 or $500,000 if I really believed that ROI was going to be there. So a huge part of it is, yeah, they need to know that you exist. And then it really is, how do you get them to feel comfortable that you're going to be the one who brings them a big ROI? So I just really want to hammer in on why that's such a vital part of getting the right clients and getting paid more and all that kind of stuff.
Yep. So kind of our goal on this call is really to help you solve both of these problems. So clients not knowing who you are and clients not trusting you to bring them the ROI. Now, before we kind of dive into everything, a couple things we want you to keep in mind before we go into the presentation. And kind of these two things are going to be, for some people, will be counterintuitive to your current beliefs because there's a lot of people who think getting high-paying clients is tough. There's a lot of people who think we're in a pandemic right now and people aren't hiring copywriters. And this actually can't be further from the truth. And we're going to prove that to you very quickly. So one kind of mindset we want you to keep in mind is that right now there's literally hundreds of direct response business owners paying top dollar for copy that converts. And actually in this presentation, we're going to dive into who those companies are. And we're going to actually give you a list of them later on during the call. So you'll actually know who to contact and who actually is capable of paying you top dollar. The other thing we want you to keep in mind, there's no shortage of copywriters killing it right now and making more money than they ever have before. And that's even with a worldwide pandemic going on. So if you have, like I said, if you have thoughts in your head that copywriting is tough right now, or people aren't paying for copywriters, or it's impossible to get high paying copy jobs, a lot of what we're going to share today is really going to change that thought for you. So let's dive into a couple examples here to kind of prove a point. So Randall Pruitt, who's one of the guys in our Copy Accelerator group, is currently making anywhere between $40,000 and $50,000 per month. That's per month, not per year, as a copywriter. He used to make about $15,000 a month. So he's significantly increased his income. Scott Mills, another copywriter from our group, took his income from $12,000 a month to $25,000 a month just in the past 7 months. So he basically doubled his income in 7 months. Pretty big leap there. Allison Carpio. So Allison's been making over 6 figures as a copywriter and conversion expert for a number of years. Ning, who's another member of our group. All these people are members of our Copy Accelerator group. He actually just got a 5-figure raise from his copy client because his copy that he just wrote is working so well. Tanner Henkel, one of the original copywriters I mentored, was folding clothes at Abercrombie and Fitch in 2017. Now he's on pace to make around $20,000 a month this year as a freelance copywriter. And then last but not least, Michael Roisin, who is basically has an amazing story. I shared this in our Justin and Stefan Talk Copy group. Got fired from his job last November, was living off savings, didn't even have enough money to buy his kids Christmas presents last year. And he now has a retainer client paying him $8,000 a month. I think he said last month he made $10,000 as a copywriter. So that's how quick things can turn around for you. And kind of a really good example of, like I said, copywriters right now are making money. They are getting paid high fees. So if you have this thought in your mind that that's not possible, I would like you to just briefly suspend that for this presentation.
Hey, Justin, one thing I want to add real quick to that is, well, actually 2 things. One would be, And those are just examples in the PowerPoint, but like there's so many more. Like Troy Erickson, who just joined Copy Accelerator. And again, this part isn't to like pitch you on Copy Accelerator, but just the people we talk with the most, right? He went from never making more than 6,000 a month to last month he made 31,000. This month he's making 21,000. Ed Ray is having 5-figure months like that he never had before. He kind of became a part of what we're doing. And then to the kind of abundance of jobs, like literally today, I got hit up by I'll only do today. This is happening every day, but just today by somebody who's a headhunter who's looking for 2 copy chiefs for 2 different companies, each of which pays over $200,000 a year. And then I got hit up by another person in the financial who's looking to pay between $10,000 and $20,000 per sales letter. And he has like 10 sales letters that he's like looking for to like pay people for. And that was just today. And like, we're seeing that every day. Like we have a thing, we have a place where people come in and like give us copy requests when they need help because we have a big network, and like we're just seeing it constantly. So to Justin's point, it's really true. There is no shortage of clients right now who are growing, scaling, and all those people need copywriters, like and of all levels too. Like people, big number of copywriters, but even people who are earlier on their journey as well. Like they want copywriters from all kind of levels of experience, and they're hiring right now.
Yep, that was a great point. Great add on there. So as you just kind of saw, like I said, people are making really good money writing copy. So the big takeaway here I want everybody to just remember is there's plenty of money out there for you to get as a copywriter. And there's tons of companies that are literally eager to give it to you. So keep that in mind as we go through this. Before we dive fully in, most of you probably know who Stefan and I are, but let's do a quick introduction. Stefan, I'll let you kind of intro yourself.
For sure. Yeah, one of the reasons that I'm so amped for today's call is because I'm really passionate about freelancing. It's something where I started out like with some of you have heard the story. I put an ad on a website called Warrior Forum back in early 2012, charging $149 for a sales letter, and with $298 in my PayPal account. And that kind of started me out. But from there, I created an Elance account, which is now Upwork, and I would do everything from content writing to like SEO blogging, like WordPress websites. Like I did school papers for people. I had like rich kids at like Yale pay me like $1,000 to write their thesis papers and shit. Like I would do whatever people would pay me for, just because like I was so excited about the idea of freelancing and not having to work for anybody else and to be my own boss. And over time, I parlayed that from $49 a sales letter up to $497, $997 until the place where today I routinely charge over $50,000 to write a single sales page for people, and that's when I'll actually do it. I'm not even doing client work as much right now, but only because I was able to parlay my freelancing career into running my own offers, running for all these big clients, getting like royalties in some cases, starting businesses, all of that. But it all started at $149 a sales letter and hustling to get clients and having that feast and famine stuff where some months like things seemed great and some months I was authentically terrified about paying the rent. But I was able to get, past that plateau to a place where clients and money and all these things are like, not a worry for me anymore. And I'm very lucky and blessed about that. But I want to, share the stuff, here today. And then from a purely copy perspective, to Justin's bullet, he wrote that I've been dubbed the number one copywriter in the world. And that's a very contentious thing. But I don't know if I'm the number one, but I'm one of the best active copywriters out there. And I'm still writing and I am active. And I love copy. I love freelancing. And I just am really excited to share with you guys today.
Awesome. So for the people who don't know me, pretty similar to Stefan, I actually started in affiliate marketing. Then I moved over to copywriting and kind of info product stuff. Back in 2010, I was literally broke, living in a $250 apartment. I had like a month's worth of money left. And from 2010 till 2017, basically in that 7-year span, I went from dead broke, almost moving back in with my parents, almost going and getting a real job and quitting this entire thing, to eventually becoming a multimillionaire through copywriting and direct response marketing. I like Stefan, I used to charge like $300 for a sales page. It wasn't until many, many years later that I learned how to actually increase my rates and how to charge what I was worth, which is kind of really the topic of this call. And like I said, both Stefan and I have climbed the ladder. We know stuff we should have, the big mistakes like that we made that we should have done earlier in terms of like charging sooner or going after the right clients sooner, stuff like that. That's what we're going to share with you. So a little bit more about me. I built and sold a $23 million supplement company. I sold my stake in that back in 2017. I'm a huge dog lover. I do a lot of pro bono work for dog rescues where I write their direct mail and help them with their fundraising stuff. And right now I'm currently at my house in Austin, Texas. So that gives you guys a little idea of who Stefan and I are, where we've been, kind of where we're at now, what we've accomplished. Basically, over the next 60 minutes or so, we're going to share our cheat sheet that we've put together for getting high-paying clients. And this really works no matter if you're a newbie, intermediate, advanced level copywriter. It pretty much works for everybody. So are you guys ready? If you are ready, type something in the chat and tell me you're ready. I can't see the chat, so Stefan, you have to tell me if it's lighting up or not.
People are, yes, it's lighting up. There's a lot of readies. It was funny because there was a pause on Isaac's. Isaac said something and there was a pause this whole intro. And I'm like, I hope people are still ready. And now it's literally just, it's like a scroll. So I love it.
Right.
Yeah, still going. People are very ready.
Cool. So we're going to go over 4 or 5 kind of specific things that you need to get high-paying clients. And then we're going to talk about some tactics in there. We're going to talk about where to get clients. And we're going to talk about kind of what clients you should go after, all that kinds of stuff. So let's get started. So first and foremost, before you can jump into client getting tactics, you have to have some semblance of copy skills. You cannot make up for being a bad copywriter with good client getting tactics. So you pretty much have to have some copy chops, because even if you're great at getting clients, they're going to be very quick to see that you're writing stuff that's not converting from them, and they're not going to rehire you, and they're not going to recommend you to other people. Unfortunately for copywriters, this is a business that depends on results. So if you're writing stuff that just continuously is bombing because your copy is not good, it's very easy for a client to see that because they're testing it and they're looking at live data and they can tell if your copy works or not. So kind of step number 1 before we can even work on getting clients is having at least some base level of copy skills. And we're going to kind of go over a little bit of what those copy skills look like in order to get high-paying copy gigs. So a couple of the skills you want, you don't have to have all of these. You could specialize in one of them. You could specialize in a couple of them. Basically, writing winning sales pages or VSLs, writing winning email creatives. Tons of people do this. Writing winning upsells. This is something I actually do a lot on a performance basis, where one of the ones I did 2 years ago for Mike Geary, he paid me like $53,000 to simply write him an upsell that took me maybe 2 days to write, because it beat his old upsell by so much and made him a bunch of money. He was glad to write me a big check like that. Writing winning Facebook ads, YouTube ads. These are all copy skills that you can have that high-paying clients are actively looking for right now. So I want to share some examples of what I kind of consider good copy that clients would actually be looking for. So I have a couple examples here of all kinds of different stuff from different niches. This is one from Ryan Connolly, who's in our Copy Accelerator group. He wrote an email for BioTrust. If you're not familiar with BioTrust, they're a huge supplement company in the health niche, 9-figure. So they're a $100 million plus company. And this is one that Ryan wrote with a little help from me. I gave him some feedback on it. So I'll read through a little bit of it so you can kind of understand the flow of it. So, hi, Dr. Matthew Robertson, MD, BioTrust medical advisor here with some groundbreaking news from Austin, Texas that could give you the youthful, glowing-looking skin you had in your 20s, no matter your current age or skin type. Here's the story. Recently, scientists at a New York skin laboratory uncovered a new active layer of the human skin called the stratum microbiome. Why does this matter to you? Because of this breakthrough discovery, these scientists have been able to create a new skin molecule that reacts with the stratum microbiome and initiates something called skin complexion optimization in your body, which is a process that targets 7 different biological pathways that optimize your skin's complexion and overall appearance. Blah, 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 blah. So that's kind of an example of a pretty solid email. It's not the best email in the world, but it's at a level that he's able to get paid for writing his copy by a huge company like BioTrust. And I think Stefan, was BioTrust paying like $1,000 for these emails?
Yeah, something like that.
Yep. So here's another one. This one, Joey Persia, who's a really good copywriter, wrote for the survival niche. It's some type of survival tactical spy gun type of offer. I can't remember exactly what it is, but this is just a block of copy out of the sales page. It says, think having a gun in your house is enough. Think again. If you ever find you or your family in a life-threatening situation where you can't get to your firearm, what I'm about to reveal on this page is the greatest equalizer in a close quarter encounter. It can easily save your life, even in the most deadly survival and self-defense scenarios. Hi, my name is Jason Hansen, former CIA operative and author of the New York Times bestseller, Spy Secrets That Can Save Your Life. On the right, you can see a copy of one of the Exception Performance Awards I received from the United States government. The reason I'm showing this to you is I'm not joking around. There's no time to joke when your life is on the line, which is why I'm glad you're here. So as you can see, like I said, this is just a small block of copy from a full sales letter, but it's just a really good flowing. The copy's good. It's easy to understand. It's really just great writing here by Joey and kind of nailing a lot of credibility. It's like I said, it's just a really good example of simple, good copy that hits the points you want to hit. Here's another one from Scott Mills, who I showed Scott earlier, one of the guys who seriously increased his income as a copywriter. This is for the golf niche. So it says, if you're a golfer over 40 and you're frustrated by losing distance off the tee and you'd like to add up to 25 yards to your drive, I have an unusual message for you. Don't you dare try and change your swing. You heard me right. If you'd like longer drive straight down the middle of the fairway, if you'd like to leave your buddies speechless and wondering how the hell is he doing that, don't even think about overhauling your swing, especially if it's unorthodox, awkward, or even downright ugly. Instead, I want you to add one simple, easy technique to your swing. So this is an example straight out of a sales letter for a golf product. After we've looked at these three, I got one more to show you. Pop something in the chat. Can you see something that's different in this copy compared to the copy either you're currently writing or copy you're reading? I'm curious to hear what you feel like is different. Stefan, feel free to rattle some of them off.
Okay, yeah, we've got contrarian, saying it's not your fault, identification and lead, shorter sentences. A couple people said that, which is interesting because that's really specific, smooth, short, answering the but what if question, more of a challenge. The story, it's not as good as what I'm writing. Flow, conversational, very contrarian, pulls you in right away, challenges established wisdom, straight to the point it flows, punchy, not wordy. I like the part where he mentions the friend's reactions, something I'm trying to work on, highly emotional, focused on you, conversational, flow smoothly, and curiosity, contrarian. Yeah, a lot of it's, engaging, the type of writing, short and punchy, that is contrarian, that is curiosity driven, just a ton of them. But yeah, not gimmicky. A lot of good stuff there. A lot about the flow as well.
Awesome. So we'll go to show you the last one here. This is one that Ed Ray, who's also a Copy Accelerator member, wrote for a BizOp offer teaching you about Facebook ads. So it says, you'll get a copy of my $1,000 a day ad template. This template has produced $400,000 in sales for one client in the last 90 days and tens of millions for my clients who've used it over the years. Now, making money for yourself or clients with online ads has nothing to do with some voodoo writing power. You can fail English class in high school and still make profits with my $1,000 a day template. Once you get this first ad agency secret, when you do, you'll churn out ads for any product or service that gets the cash register ringing, even if you've never done ads before or you don't have a business, in less than 30 days. So here's my first ad agency secret to help you make $1,000 a day with advertising. Uncover the buyer pain. Anyone who's run an ad before in the newspaper, on a billboard, or over the internet, anywhere, and then it keeps going. So this is a pretty solid example for a BizOp offer. I don't know exactly how this one is working right now, but I would venture to say, based on Ed's past experience writing BizOp stuff, he has a pretty good feel for the niche, and it's probably doing pretty well. So kind of recap that. You have to have, like I said, a base level of skill to get high paying clients. You can't be absolutely terrible at copy, but you also don't have to be amazing. Because like Stefan said, there are a lot of businesses that are hiring junior writers to write emails, junior writers to write Facebook ads. There's businesses that will hire you on a performance basis where you're not getting paid anything up front, but if you beat what's currently running for them, then they'll pay you. There's a lot of ways to kind of get your first gig or to land gigs if you're having a hard time getting gigs.
I would say too, there is also, again, I completely agree. You cannot be, you have to have skills 100%. You have to have studied copy and practiced and done all of that. But there's a lot of even big companies that are doing a comfortable 8 figures, if not 9 figures, where their copy is only like okay. So even if you're like, okay as well, you're good but not great, but you have like the right idea or a really good hook, or you get that one thing dialed in, even if your copy is not like legendary A-list level copy, you still may actually just smash the control, and then you'll get additional opportunities, and the more you write, the better you'll get. So you have to, if you can't write, then you shouldn't be a copywriter. And I mean, like, literally, if you can't understand how to put a sentence together, but I also don't want you to feel like it's like the only way is to be like, don't stop trying to get clients, or don't put yourself off on getting clients because you're so worried either.
Yep, great point. So yeah, the better your skills get, the better your copy converts, the more you're going to get paid. That's a pretty simple fact of the world of copywriting. So like I said, if you're a total newbie, start small. I'm a huge fan of telling people that are new, write copies for email and Facebook ads, stuff like that, because writing a 40-page sales letter is a lot harder than writing an email or writing a Facebook ad. And you can actually learn a lot about copywriting from starting small and writing smaller bits of copy like emails and Facebook ads. Then if you're more advanced, your goal is to really start writing copy that converts on cold traffic, because that's what businesses are willing to pay a ton of money for, because that's really what scales a company and acquires them a lot of customers, which is the goal of every single one of these big direct response businesses that we deal with.
One question that Anas asked is it okay to start with a specific niche, or do I need to start as a generalist? I think that's a good question. So I want to chime in on that. My personal opinion is you can do either. I like when you're starting out, though. I think like getting exposed to several niches is good. Because like I feel like you may find that you really like one niche more than another. Like I didn't start out focused on health, and I did stuff about how to paint houses, like, or how to start a house painting business and survival, and like writing for gym chains and writing for BizOp and all kinds of stuff. And I just ended up finding through time that I was really good at health and that I enjoyed writing for it. So, I think like it's valuable when you're really early on to kind of get experience in different categories and niches, because that's how you really find the things that you're strongest at and you like the most. But I mean, if you are really passionate about one vertical, then sure, you could focus on that, but I wouldn't be closed off to other opportunities, especially when you're very early on.
Yep, I agree with all that. So yeah, just kind of wrap this section up. Remember, you can't skip the copy skills. No amount of client getting tactics is going to help if your copy's crap. So we're going to dive in though a little bit now into actually who to target for clients and how to get them once you have the copy skills. So the biggest thing, if you only take away one thing from this whole this whole presentation, I want you to understand that when it comes to getting a high-paying copy job, it's all about who the client is. I'm going to show you a couple examples of this and why that really matters. So let's do a quick little survey question here. If you were selling Rolex watches, would you want to sell to the guy who already has 12 watches, or would you want to sell to the guy who has 0 watches? Pop your answer in the chat.
For the most part, it's overwhelmingly 12. I think I saw 10, but that got spammed out by all the 12s.
Okay. If you're selling a mastermind, would you rather sell to the guy who's already in a mastermind, or would you rather sell to the guy who's not in any masterminds? Pop your answer in the chat for this as well.
Primarily already in. There are a few people said 0, and a few people have also said, not in any. But most people are saying, the overwhelming majority said 12, and the overwhelming majority are saying already in.
Okay, cool. So the correct answer for both of these is you want to sell to the guy who has 12 watches because he's proven that he's a watch buyer. The other guy has never proven that he's actually a watch buyer. And you have no interest in trying to convince someone who you have no idea, like he might not be a watch buyer, and trying to sell to someone who has no interest in watches is really damn hard compared to someone who loves buying watches. Same thing for masterminds. People who are already in masterminds are the best target to join another mastermind. I don't know, Stefan's in like what, 4 or 5 of them?
Yeah, I have 4 or 5. Yeah, I don't even know how many, but and it happened for years, and they vary too. I might leave one and say I'm going to cut back, but then I end up joining new one.
But it's totally true. I mean, I'm in 2 or 3, and that's not even counting ours, which we run. Most of the people I know who are in like our mastermind are also in another mastermind. So kind of the big thing here is the same thing happens with clients. So you want to go after the clients who are already paying high fees because they're the most likely to pay you high fees for your copy. This is something that's very, very obvious to me now, but was not obvious to me when I started out as a copywriter. And like I said, if you kind of take one thing away from this presentation, this would be a huge, huge kind of eye opener for a lot of people who are basically trying to milk a dead cow, where you're going after clients who you have to convince them of everything, and you're trying to get them to pay you a bunch of money to write copy, and they're not the type of person or the type of company that's going to do that. So let's kind of dive into that. This is something Steph and I call trash versus treasure clients. There's really 2 types of clients. There's ones that are trash and there's ones that are treasures. So we'll break these down for you. So trash clients basically don't understand direct response marketing. Good little story about this. Some of the pro bono work I do for dog rescues. One I did for a dog rescue here in Austin called Austin Pets Alive. They're an amazing rescue, save like, I don't know, tens of thousands of dogs every single year. They're awesome at what they do. They don't understand direct response marketing and fundraising. They're really good at fundraising, like finding super wealthy donors and getting $25,000 from them. They're not good at doing an 8-page direct mail letter to their donors and getting money from them that way. And I actually did a pro bono campaign for them, wrote this amazing 8-page letter. It had this super heartbreaking story about a dog that they rescued. And I'm like, man, this thing is going to crush. We were going to send it to a bunch of their kind of larger donors, but not the mega donors. So like people have donated between like $1,000 and $5,000 and try to get money from them with that. The letter was great. It was going to crush. I gave it to them, and that's where basically a 3-hour conversation started where they critiqued the entire letter. They thought the story was too emotional, that their people weren't going to go for it. They thought that it was 8 pages and it way too long. Nobody's going to read 8 pages. All the typical things you get from clients who don't understand direct response marketing. And I spent, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks trying to convince them that this was going to work. And eventually I just quit because it turned into a huge nightmare. I was just pounding my head against the wall. Like I said, I wasn't getting paid for this. The only reason I was doing it is because I love dogs and I wanted to help them. But it got to the point where it just wasn't worth my time. It wasn't worth the headaches. That's what happens with trash clients. Trash clients that don't understand direct response. You have to convince them every single step of the way that you should be using an emotional story, that you should be using long copy, that we should do the offer this way, because they don't understand any of it. And it's literally, it's a nightmare to do. I'm sure people on this call have worked with clients like that. And if you have, you probably are relating exactly to what I'm saying here. So next part of a trash client is they're not already hiring copywriters, conversion experts, lead gen help, stuff like that, and paying them well. So like we said, one of the things you want to look for is a business who's already hiring these types of people, because that signals that they are serious about direct response. People that aren't doing that, you want to stay as far away from them as possible. And the last one would be micromanaging your copy. And I know Stefan has a lot of stories about this, so I'll let you share those.
Yeah, really, it's like not just a like single story, but it's a type of client where if they're trying to look at your copy before it's finished, like the best way to go, and I think most of you guys know that, is to have you get paid, you tell them when you get them a first draft. If they want to look at the first draft and provide some feedback, great. And then you have a final draft and you're good. Right. And ideally you can just give them a final draft, but there's clients out there who are really trying to give you such a structured process, which I understand, but it becomes overkill. And they want to look at your copy every step of the way. And they want to look at, okay, so you're writing a whole sales letter, right? Like, okay, send me the lead when you have it. Send me this when you have it. It becomes way more stressful for you because like, then, you feel like it has to be really polished. So the best way to write copy is to write the whole, sales letter or the whole kind of email or whatever you're doing, and then go through and do your tweaks and things like that. And so if you have to send them every little piece along the way, it interrupts your flow. They come in with ideas that may or may not be good, but they're going to kind of divert you from the direction you're going. And even when they say, some of you guys may have had this happen where they want to see what you're working on and you show them like a draft and you're like, okay, this is just a draft. It's not finished. I'm still going to add X, Y, and Z. And the client looks at it and says, I've got concerns. Like, I don't see X, Y, or Z in here, and you should do this. And it becomes this whole thing. So like, I just generally in my experience, having worked with, I don't know, probably at least 1,000 clients over the last 8 years, the vast majority of the really good clients get it and aren't like that. And the vast majority of the really bad clients don't get it and are like that. So in other words, it's very rare that I find like a really high level client who's a micromanager. I can think of one example. I'm not going to name names, like one example over the last couple of years, but it's very rare. And it's something that if they see you wanting to constantly audit what you're doing and looking in on it, that's usually a pretty big red flag. So I'd really like to avoid that. And I'd encourage you guys to as well, because it'll end up extending the project, more revisions, and it doesn't let you execute on your vision, which is what they're paying you for in the first place.
Yep. I agree with that totally. If this section was kind of useful to you and you've gotten some insights out of it, feel free to pop something in the chat. That was kind of an eye opener or something you learned out of the last couple of slides. I'm curious to hear what's hitting home with you guys.
Yeah, we're getting some good stuff. Tony did ask, he said, you wouldn't send your headline and a lead to a client just to verify you're on the right track. Tony, like, I'm okay with potentially doing that for the client. However, I don't know. I'd rather not. I'd rather know I'm on the right track. I mean, I think and it also depends on, I guess, if you trust the client. But it's one thing if you want to send it to them preemptively and be like, hey, check this out. Want to make sure I'm on the right track. Like, I'm okay with that. But I don't want people kind of asking me constantly to see every day for an update and where the copy's at. I don't want to write it in a Google Doc and they're looking in and making edits while I'm writing. That's like a nightmare. So other than that, Justin, people are popping in a bunch of stuff. Let's see here. That the last part was really eye-opening. I think about the micromanagers. I love the point about it being your vision they're paying for. Micromanagement one big. They're hiring you to do a good job, so they should trust you can do the job. If they want to double check every step of the way, why hire you in the first place? Yeah, good. Yeah,
Awesome.
Gabriel said reaching out to clients that already are hiring people a lot. I think they were saturated, which is totally not true. That's a really important one, because the ones who are hiring a lot need to hire more. All the big companies are sending emails every day. They're testing new copy every day. They're launching new products. So they have a constant need for copywriters.
Yep.
Yeah. So a bunch of good stuff here.
Awesome. All right. So that was the trash clients. Let's move on to the treasure clients. So these are the ones you want to go after. These are the ones when you look back, you're like very fond memories of working with them because they pay you well. They treat you well. They're not a pain in the ass. So these are the ones you want to find. So treasure clients are usually serious direct response marketers. They will gladly pay top dollar for winning copy. They know how to get traffic and they know how to scale a winning offer. So one of the worst things is you write a great product and you give it to a company and they have no idea how to scale it and no idea how to get traffic, and it's just sits there and does nothing. Great treasure clients really know their numbers. And they let you see the numbers. So they're going to give you feedback on how the email you wrote did, or they're going to give you feedback on how the lead you wrote or the upsell you wrote. Whatever you write, they know numbers and let you see what your copy actually did. And that's a huge point, because if you don't know how it actually performed against, let's say, the control or something else they've been running, you have no idea how good you are. The last thing is really they understand the value of winning copy in kind of every form. So like somebody who does a ton of email pays a lot for email because they understand how valuable that email is. Someone who does tons of, let's say, native traffic to a VSL, and they have to continuously test new leads on it, they truly know the value of new leads. Someone who's running tons of traffic and they need to increase their average order value by $4 or $5, they understand the value of getting the upsells dialed in so that the average order value goes up. All that type of stuff, treasure clients really, really understand well. And that's why they're happy to pay you a lot more, because they know, okay, if we get the upsell dialed in, we can scale this from 30 sales a day to 1,000 sales a day. Yeah, we'll happily pay you $50,000 to do that, because you're just going to make us millions and millions of dollars. And so treasure clients truly understand that. And that's the cool thing about treasure clients. They really want you to share in the prosperity, because it's going to make them a boatload of money.
Justin, one other thing I want to add on the knowing clients who know their numbers and let you see them. It helps you to get better and to know if you're on the right track or not. And that's really important. But additionally, when you know those numbers, you can then leverage that, right? So if you know that you wrote an email that, converted at whatever, 5%, or that you had like a 30% click-through rate and, led to like XYZ in earnings, then when you're talking to additional clients in the future, you can name drop that, right? You can be like, oh yeah, I did a sales letter for whatever company and it's been awesome. They got up to 500 sales a day and it's converting at this percentage point, and they're thrilled. Or, I actually wrote an email like that for this client and they told me they were thrilled with it. The open rate was actually like 45%, which is bonkers, and the click-through rate was like 5%. They said they made a ton of money from it. So if you have like that knowledge, then you'll be able to you can leverage that to charge more and get more clients in the future, because then you have more credibility, and going back to people, believing that if they pay you that they'll get an ROI. When you can talk about, stats and numbers and things you've done with other clients, it helps. And then one other quick note, I know some of you guys are talking about, finding positive clients, and we're going to get to that. And I know some people are asking about what to do if you don't have a portfolio and if you're kind of new and all that kind of stuff. And we're going to get to that one as well. So yeah.
By the way, how many people do we have on the call right now?
282.
Wow, that's a new record. Awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
Sweet. So that was treasure clients. Big point. If you want to get high paying copy gigs, you have to work with clients who are already paying high fees for copy. Like I said, this is a very obvious point to me now. In the beginning of my copywriting career, it was not. Stop trying to convince the trash clients to pay you high fees. It's a losing game that you're never going to win. And let's dive around to who actually is paying high fees. So I mentioned in my email for this that we're going to give you a list of companies that are paying high fees right now, and we'll do that right now. So this is a list of, I think I said I was going to give you 9 companies. I overextended and gave you 12. So you get 3 bonus ones. Basically, this is a list of companies who are paying really, really well in multiple niches. So we have V-Shred, who is health and fitness. They do somewhere around $120 million a year. They do tons of Facebook traffic, email traffic. For Patriots is a huge brand in the survival prepper niche. Anything from survival food to water filters to all kinds of stuff like that. They do really well in that. No Pants Project, they basically teach writers how to get clients and to make more money as a writer. It's kind of a biz op offer. Los Silva has a couple of biz op offers that he pays pretty well for. BioTrust, I showed you that example earlier. They sell health supplements. They pay really well for emails and if you can beat controls on their sales pages. Credit Secrets is run by Jay, who's a member of our mastermind. Basically a credit repair business. He's hired a bunch of people for leads and sales pages and emails and stuff like that. Danette May, she's a huge influencer in the health and fitness niche. She's got a really rabid following on Facebook. Get Lean After 40 is Sean Hadsel and Ryan Colby's company. A lot of, like I said, over 40 health and fitness is kind of their target market. Wyatt Research is financial newsletters. Paleo Hacks is health and fitness, mostly paleo, keto type stuff. Jason Hansen, I showed a couple of his stuff before, which is spy, tactical guns kind of stuff. And then Performance Zone Golf is obviously golf. We showed one of their examples before. So these are 12 people or 12 companies that right now and in the past have paid very good money for copy and are actually accessible, unlike, I don't know, like Agora is not going to just hire you out of nowhere unless you want to move to Baltimore or something like that. But these are ones that actually take freelancers. These are ones that would hire you for emails, for leads, for long form copy. I mean, if you can write something that will convert for them and makes them a bunch of money, they will be more than happy to hire you.
And yeah, this is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, these are just ones we kind of put because we have really good, close personal relationships with these guys. But there's a ton of other ones. Like I said, we're getting hit up pretty much every day with big companies who are looking to hire copywriters.
Yep. All right. So we talked about who you want to go after. Let's talk about how to actually get these clients, even if you don't have a portfolio. So one of my favorite ones is the 3 email method. We're going to share a story about this from one of the guys in our Copy Accelerator group named John. John basically used the 3 email method to land a treasure client. So I'll show you this little story. So Danette May's company, like I said, is one of the big fitness and health companies. I think they're a $20, $30 million company. They do really well. John wanted to work with them. John did not have a portfolio of health copies, so it's really hard to get hired for health gigs if you've only written stuff in another niche. Like you're sending them copy that they really don't understand. So it helps a lot if you have examples of that niche to share with them. So John had no portfolio, no samples to give people, kept getting denied on gigs because like I said, he had nothing to show them. So what he did was the 3 email sequence. Basically, he wrote 3 email creatives for them for free, sent them over to the company to test. He mentioned that if these do well, I'd love to talk to you guys about writing more stuff for you. So one important note there, he did not email them saying, can I work for you guys for free? I want to write for you for free, blah, blah, blah. He wrote the emails first. He did research on what they needed, looked at some of their offers, and wrote the email creatives and then sent them over. This is a huge, huge difference because Stefan and I both can relate to this. When people email us and say they want to work for free and they're like, what can I do for you? That's usually just more work for us because now I got to come up with a project for you. I got to tell you what to do. If you go out of your way and actually write the email creatives first and then you send them over to me, that makes you stand out completely against all the other people that are emailing us and begging us to hire them. So if you're the type of person who doesn't, like I said, if you don't have a client right now, or if you're trying to get clients, or you kind of just infrequently have clients, this is a super easy way to get clients. Now, it's not going to work with every single one. You're going to have to try this for multiple times. And yes, you are going to have to do work ahead of time. And a lot of the time when you do this, your work is going to go to shit because you'll send it to them and you won't get a response. So, but the idea here is this does work. So if you send it to, I don't know, 7 people, you might get hired by 2 of them. So you do have to put in a little work, but you're also getting a ton of practice in writing email creatives. So that's a great experience to have. So, go ahead.
Yeah, just a couple more points on that too. Like, is don't be afraid to follow up as well. So, I mean, two thoughts, because one thing is like when the prospective client or that dream client it has an urgent need, they're more likely to respond, right? If they don't have an immediate need for this, like if a creative or whatever you're doing, then maybe they're not going to respond or use it right away. Like somebody did it for me recently, who is like it's on my. I haven't actually reviewed the creatives. Somebody basically offered to write creatives for me for free and did, and I haven't gone through them. And this was maybe like a week ago. So I don't know, for that person, they may be thinking, oh, that method didn't work. But I keep thinking about it like every day and thinking about how, I'm an asshole. I need to review this. I need to, it's so nice that this person did this for me. I got to get them over to my team so we can test them. So even though I haven't responded yet, and it might take me another week to respond, like now I'm thinking about that freelancer like every day, and I'm feeling guilt about that I haven't looked at it, and I am going to get to it, and I am going to test it. So it's not that when you guys follow this method that the person is going to just immediately respond and say, hey, this is great, let me test all of them tomorrow and I'll give you the data. It may take time, but you're getting on their radar, and you're getting into you're breaking through all this shit, and you're getting onto the top of their mind. So that's point number one. And then point number two for this, you guys, is really don't be afraid to follow up. Like, a funny story is another guy he's been cold emailing me for like 2 months. He emailed me probably 10 times. And then finally I had like a urgent enough pain point where I had a piece of copy that needed to be written, and he kept offering to do stuff, for free. And he sent me something previously and I hadn't used that. But then I was like, hey man, actually I've got this thing that I need done. Can you do it for me? And actually the guy never did it. I gave him 10 days to do it and he never did it. So then he kind of self-sabotaged, which is crazy because he followed up with me like 10 times to do this thing. And I finally gave him an opportunity and then he didn't ever do it. But, but the point is like, because the other thing too is even with that, you can give me something for free. And even if I don't use that right away, there's a chance that like, I'm going to have some other urgent need. And if I do look at your samples and they look good, I might be like, well, crap, I need creatives for this thing. And I just saw that this person's samples are pretty good. Like, hey man, you know what? These are awesome. I'll test these at some point, but what do you charge for a creative? Because I gotta have 5 by like tomorrow. Can you do those? Right? There's so many reasons to do this. It's not like a magic bullet that works every single time, but this is really important. I get cold emailed quite a bit actually, Mon. And I read them, and then I do, like I said, I feel guilty, and usually I'll respond over time. So it really does cut through the clutter.
Awesome. That was a great addition. So yeah, getting back to what John, we'll go back up. So John wrote these 3 emails for Danette's company. This is an example of one of the emails he wrote. It's for their cacao. They have a cacao powder that's a supplement. John wrote an email with a lot of help from Stefan and I. Veggies are boring, right? Unfortunately, right now, getting essential nutrients that veggies contain are absolutely critical if you want a strong immune system. But without them, your immune system can break down, and that could weaken your ability to fight infection. Not good. But that doesn't mean you have to run out and stock up on a 3-year supply of kale. While veggies like kale contain phytochemicals, which help protect 70% of your body's immune cells, you don't have to get these immune-boosting phytochemicals from veggies themselves. Crazy, right? In fact, you can get everything you need to naturally fight off viruses with this proven ancient treat known as fruit of the gods. It's not some fad food that will be popular for 6 months and then disappear. Harvard Medical School called this the most phytochemically complex food in nature, and it contains up to 1,200 different nutrients that studies show may help against inflammation, disease, and viral attacks, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure they probably edited this for compliance before they sent it out, but that's kind of the gist of it. It's a pretty solid email. And I know John got numbers and data back from the client on the 3 emails he wrote, and they were actually super happy with them. So the client liked the emails. They said they performed well. After that, they hired John to write new leads for their sales pages. So by simply writing these 3 emails for them, sending it over, and letting them test them, and the emails did well, John was able to work his way into getting actual paying gigs with them, writing leads from a client that he had never worked with before. So Steph and I are both huge fans of this way of getting clients. If you're the type who doesn't want to leave your house and doesn't want to go anywhere to get clients, this method does work pretty damn well. It works better than cold emailing people on Facebook and all kinds of other crap that people try to do. So I'm a huge fan of this method. I've taught it to, I don't know, numerous copywriters. I would say less than 5% of them have ever actually tried it. But the ones who have tried it, it actually works really well. I'm sure there's some Copy Accelerator members on the call who have done this. If you have and it's worked for you, feel free to pop it in the chat. I'd be curious to hear who it's worked for. Kind of the big point to take away here. So when doing stuff for free to get clients, like I said, you must write the stuff first, then send it to them. Don't ask them, can I work for you for free? Because that just creates more work for them. Steph, anything you want to add?
John Rob's on the call, and he said, this has worked for me 3 times now, ha, 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 ha. Which is
Nice.
awesome. I know some people are saying that because I think the chats are going to all panelists and not all panelists and attendees, so they can't see the questions that other people are asking. I don't really know how to change that. So, sorry about that, guys, but we're trying to read off as many questions as we can, or trying to, answer them for you guys. So, but yeah.
I think there's a little thing where you can change it to go to all panelists and attendees. You just got to change it to that.
Some people, Martin asks, like, how do you find out who to contact with these emails? I mean, I think you have to be resourceful, but if you leverage your networks too. I mean, think about it. Like, if you're on this call now, you're connected to us, you could please, I really don't want like 1,000 messages. So like,
honestly, I was going to put some of the contact info on there, but I want to leave it out because if we just hand it to you on a silver platter, you're not going to put any effort in. The people who are on this call who are resourceful, we already gave you the companies to contact. You can figure that out with a little bit of research and a little bit of digging on your part.
Yeah, and your network. I mean, you're in Facebook groups, like you're in Justin Stefan Talk Copy. You've got friends. You've got LinkedIn. I mean, I think if you're a little bit diligent, you can generally find out who the person is that you should be contacting with to use this strategy.
Cool. So let's go to the last point here. So we just gave you the tactic on the 3 email method. The 3 email method, like I said, works really well if you want to stay at home. You don't want to go anywhere. You can get clients that way. The next one is getting clients at live events. And in my opinion, is probably the best way to land high-paying clients. And we're going to kind of break down how to do that and why you should do it. So one thing I want to go over though first, and this is something I've never really thought about, but it comes up all the time when I recommend this method. People who live outside the U.S. basically saying, well, I don't live in the U.S., I can't get clients doing that. So that doesn't work for me. Honestly, it's complete bullshit because unless you live in North Korea and you can't leave, you can travel. So I'll give you some examples. So Pauline, who lives in Australia, which is not close whatsoever to Las Vegas, traveled 21 hours to our last Copy Accelerator event. I'm pretty sure she had the farthest trip of anyone there. Mattia lives in Italy. Same thing. Traveled 14 plus hours to come to our last Copy Accelerator event. Boris lives in France. Probably a 15-hour type flight to get to Vegas from France. So all these people, I mean, I could have probably listed off 40 of these because I don't know, a good 30, 40 people at our event were international people. People who are serious about getting clients, people who are serious about networking and serious about being in the right rooms. You're not going to let the fact that you live in England or Germany or Australia or Singapore or wherever you live be an excuse for getting to a live event where you could actually pick up clients. So like I said, live events are one of the best places to land high-paying copy gigs. And there's multiple reasons for it. So one of the biggest ones, there's a barrier of entry to get in the room. So if you're in the room, big name people look at you as equals. That does not happen when you're cold emailing them, when you're messaging them on Facebook. If you're in a room of like one of our Copy Accelerator events is about $3,000 to attend, if you're not a member, that's a real barrier of entry. You have to be on some level of success to get in that room. And that's why the people in the room, I said, look at you differently. It's a big, big factor. The second reason is going back to what Stefan said at the beginning, which is one of the reasons you're not getting hired is because they don't know who you are. Live events solve this because you get a chance to actually meet them in person. And nothing really can replicate meeting someone in person. You can't replicate it chatting on Facebook. You can't replicate it through email. Meeting someone in person literally changes the relationship, and it changes how they see you. Even your clients that you've worked with before, when you work with them online, then you finally meet them in person, it completely changes the relationship. So that's another reason I'm a huge fan of live events for getting clients. The third one, and this one honestly is probably the biggest reason, you can get the full attention of a busy business owner at a live event that you can't get any other time. So if you're a bunch of those treasure clients that we listed off, trying to email them might work. Like I said, it worked for John. If you know the right person to get to. A lot of them are super busy. They're running 30, 40, 50, $100 million companies. They have employees to manage. They have their own lives to manage. They have spouses. They have kids. They have stuff falling apart at work that they're like, there's a lot of shit going on. They're working all the time. They're completely busy. That is not what's going on at a live event. Their focus at a live event is networking, learning stuff, having fun. So at a live event, you can actually sit there and talk to them. You can have a real 20-minute conversation with someone who's running a $100 million business that there's no chance in hell you're having that conversation anywhere else with them. So that's probably the biggest reason why I think a live event is really the perfect place to land the high-paying clients. Reason number 4, deals are made all the time at bars and cocktail parties at events. This is something that people who have kind of been doing this for a long time really realize. I remember one of the first events I ever went to I think it was like 2008, 2009. It was called Fast Track to Fitness Millions. It was like a fitness info marketing kind of event. And I met at that event, my friend Dave Sinek, who runs Paleo Hacks. I met Jason Capital. I met Joel Marion. And who else did I meet? There was like 1 or 2 other guys I met. It was the first time I'd ever met these guys. Elliot Hulse, I met him. There was a bunch of guys that were pretty big fitness people that I had never met before. And I met most of them at the bar at that event. We started talking, started hanging out. I ended up buying us all like a round of shots that cost, I don't know, $70, $80. Probably the best $70, $80 I could have spent at that event, because the next day we're all talking about having fun that night at the bar. They're talking about the shot that I bought. I can't remember. I bought them some like weird shot that they'd never done. But that turned us into having a relationship that we didn't have before that. And you see this happen at all kinds of events. You see it at the events we put on. You see it at Traffic and Conversion. You see it at Affiliate Summit, all kinds of events. Deals, friendships, and landing clients happens at bars and cocktail parties all the time. So reason number 5, you create a network of people who will refer you future copywriting work. When you start to get people that are kind of your cheerleader and on your side and friends with you, they will refer you work in the future. And like I said, it all really boils down to having that friendship and that relationship first. Because once someone likes you and actually trusts you, they're going to be much more likely to refer you work. So when someone's like, hey, I need an email copywriter, who do you recommend? They're like, oh, I recommend this guy. That all really comes from having a network of people around you. And the last one, basically some live events will actually matchmake for you and set you up with clients, which is really good for introverts, or if you're someone who struggles with imposter syndrome. They actually will put you in touch with other clients. So we do this at our events. Kevin Rogers, Copy Chief Live, does this at his events. It's a really simple thing where there's business owners who need copy written. There's copywriters there, and we'll match them up together. So I'll show you an example of this at one of our events. So that top row is all the people at the event who are hiring. It's not all of them, sorry. There was like 20 to 25 people who stood up and said, here's what I need. Here's what I'm hiring for. I'm looking for emails, or I'm looking for VSL copy, or I'm looking for a long form text sales page, basically spouting off exactly what they need. Then the picture on the bottom, we had all the business owners stand against the wall, and all the copywriters in the room who wanted to go work with those people went over and talked to them. So they went over, they got contact information, they got cell phone numbers, and then they followed up with them either at the event or afterwards. And a bunch of them booked tons and tons of copy gigs. So like I said, certain events, like I said, ours does this. Kevin Rogers, Copy Chief Live, he does it at his. This is a really, really great thing for copywriters, because it's kind of like done for you client generation. And actually, I want to show you a couple examples from that actually happened out of ours. So Sam Woods, who's in our Copy Accelerator group and was at the event, he was in that line there at the bottom meeting with potential clients. He landed multiple long form sales pages with Jason Hansen, who's in the spy tactical niche. Michael Rasheen landed an $8,000 a month retainer client in the health niche. He didn't land it exactly at the event. He landed it about 2 months after the event, but from someone he met at the event. Art McDermott landed multiple email copy gigs for V-Shred and Performance Golf. Ed landed a couple gigs with Ian Stanley writing upsells and long-form sales pages for Ian. Sam Robson, I know, got multiple email and long-form sales pages in the health niche. There's a bunch more I could kind of go on with this, but you kind of get the point. The live event and connecting at the live events is huge. A couple of the events that Steph and I really like swear by. Traffic and Conversion Summit is a huge one. I'm there every year. Like I said, Copy Chief Live is really good. It's more beginner focused than our mastermind is, but if you're kind of more in that beginner niche, it's a good event for that. And then obviously our Copy Accelerator live events, which we hold twice a year, are honestly great for picking up clients. I think last time, what were we saying last time, Stefan, after the event, we were joking that being a copywriter at a Copy Accelerator event is like being a attractive woman who walks onto an army base. Like, that's,
yeah, totally.
Everyone's just like clamoring over you.
It's totally true.
All right, so big takeaway here. Do everything you can to go to live events. It's one of the best, easiest places to land high-paying copy gigs. And then let's kind of recap what we went over on this call. So why are you not getting high-paying clients? These are the kind of the two big reasons. They don't know you, and they don't trust that you can get them an ROI. So kind of the big thing is, all right, how do we actually solve this? We gave you some tactics. We gave you some ideas. You can go and implement these. The big thing is we want to improve our copy skills. So we really have to know like what works. When we're writing emails, when we're writing ads, we're writing sales pages, upsells, we need to know what works, because if you know what works, you can go in and beat current controls. You can go in and fix copy that someone's already running right now. And then we also want to meet the treasure clients and get to know them. So like I said, this can be done over email. John was a great example of this. I'm personally a bigger fan of doing it in person, because I think, like I said, the relationship changes in person. So either one of those works. Like I said, there's lots of ways you can go about it. You can basically read copywriting books. You can read the daily emails that Steph and I send out. You can post in our free Facebook group to improve your copy. You can also go to events on your own and try to meet some of the treasure clients. Definitely that might work for you. It might not. The one thing that will probably happen though is you will make mistakes, and it probably cost you a little more significant amount of time. But what we're going to kind of present to you today is kind of another option, which is to kind of have Stefan and I as your personal mentors, which means you're going to have us showing you how to write winning ads, how to write emails, how to write sales pages, how to write upsells, all that kind of stuff. And then we're also going to be able to introduce you to our network of treasure clients at the 2 live events that we hold each year. So we went over that list earlier, the one that had this one. So V-Shred, For Patriots, No Pants Project, the whole list here. These are actually clients that are either in our Copy Accelerator group already, or who attend our live events and hire people from the events. So if you came to our next live event, you would see all these companies there, plus, I don't know, 40, 50 more of them. I think, Stefan, how many people do we have at the last event? Like 180?
I think it ended up pushing 200 again. I think we've been at just almost 200 for both events.
Okay. So yeah, around 200 people at the events. A huge, like we said, a huge number of businesses hiring copywriters. You're really in high demand if you're a copywriter at these events. So like I said, these companies will all be at the event. You'll be able to chat with them in person. You can have lunch with them. If you want Steph and I to personally introduce you to them, we actually do that as well. So all that is actually taken care of at the event. It's kind of give you an idea of, if you're not familiar, our current program for this is called the Copy Accelerator program. It's $35,400 for the year. It's actually not open right now because it's full. We have 109 or 110 members right now, and we're actually totally capped out. So if you wanted to join the Copy Accelerator program, you can't. So basically that's where we're at right now. But if you've seen our emails the last couple of days, we're running a little beta test of a new program that we're launching, where you can learn directly from us. And you can also attend the 2 live masterminds, and for a lot less than the normal $35,000 price tag. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about that right now. Basically, it's called Copy Accelerator Lite. And when you join the program, basically, here's what you get. You get, Stefan, if you want to pull up your screen and kind of share some of the stuff. I'm going to have Stefan walk you through.
Yeah, sounds good here.
Walk you through some of this.
It's going to stop your screen sharing, so as long as you're okay with that.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, cool. Yeah, perfect. So what I'm showing you guys right now is inside the members area. Do you want me to kind of just go ahead and run through, Justin, a list of what you get with Copy Accelerator Lite?
Yeah, go ahead. So obviously the first thing is you get access to our weekly calls and then all the previous weekly calls.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. So every single week we're doing a new training call. They're on Tuesdays at 10 Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern time. And it's Justin or myself teaching or training. Every now and then we have a guest who comes in and teaches and trains. The calls go for about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes or so. And they're very tactical, very hands-on. So those are every single week. There's new trainings, but everything that happens, all of these trainings get put into our members area as well, which is what I'm showing on my screen. So the way we have it organized is you can see sort of these most important videos. So these are all past trainings, all an hour plus long, all with tons of live examples, us breaking down copy, us like sharing our wins, sharing what we've done. We go through my RMBC method, which a lot of you guys are probably familiar with. I've taught it now in 3 cycles. I taught it once at the very beginning of Copy Accelerator, again, about maybe 7 months after that. And then I recently did it again. And the last time I did it, I basically did examples for everybody. So people would be like, hey, I'm working on a mechanism for this offer. And I would go through and actually we do it live on the call. And we did that. And we'll keep doing those for people too. So you can actually see me using my RMBC method for our members on these calls, which is really cool. But obviously RMBC's here. You have the videos on upsells, downsells, which is what Justin's one of the best people in the world at. You've got checkout pages. You'll see our most recent calls. Justin's done the last couple here, real-time email creatives, paid email drops. We did one on YouTube ads with Mike Bontempo. And then if you go through here, I mean, pretty much every category you can imagine, like we've done it at this point, and sometimes multiple times. So leads, headlines, fascination bullets, emotional storytelling, closes, how to make more money for your clients or for your own offers when you do closes, coming up with big ideas. It's just stuff on email copy, conversion boosters. We did a whole series on these biggest needle movers and all these little tricks and things you can do in funnels that can increase conversion. So, by all this stuff, it's great for business owners, but it's also huge for freelancers, because when you have all this knowledge and you take it and then you are able to apply that to clients, like either from when you do something from scratch, or if you get paid to be a control, or you're doing consulting and you're able to just go through here, steal like 5 of the biggest needle movers, tell your client to do those things and get paid like a huge bonus or commission on it, it can make you a ton of money. It's like a complete shortcut. So, and we do open QA sometimes. We had Chris Haddad come be a special guest. We've had other people come. So yeah, that's going on. Plus every other week, we actually have compliance calls with the team at Tried and True, where we're doing, they're talking about Facebook compliance. So people are submitting copy they want reviewed for compliance, and Tried and True is their team will go through and kind of talk about, what if a page is compliant or not, how to change it, all this kind of stuff, so that you can have Facebook compliant copy, which is really huge, not just for any reason, but especially for clients who are willing to pay a premium, because it's really hard to find copywriters who understand compliance. But when you have access to this and these biweekly calls and this massive archive, then what you'll find is, it becomes a lot easier. And then we've got all kinds of bonuses in the members area too. So my swipe file, which is massive, me breaking down different sales letters, email sequences and how I do those, the recordings of me doing a keto offer from scratch, Justin doing examples of writing leads. I've done video critiques of certain offers and funnels and things like that. Then you get all the recordings from both of our live events here. So you get, sorry, my daughter just came inside, so you're gonna hear her saying Anna at the same time. But you get these live events too, right? So you get the recordings from both live events. So like this one in Vegas, right? Every talk, my talks, but also all the people who attended, who talked, Natural Health Sherpa, Tyler Bramlett, Matt Harmon, and then you go all the way back to Austin, same thing. Daughter's getting carried upstairs, so we love her, but we'll see her soon.
Yeah, I want to chime in on the live events. We do not sell the videos from live events. There's no way to see them unless you are a member of the group. I can honestly say the Vegas event was the best event I've probably ever been to. Some of the talks in there are absolutely insane. The one Jay did on upsells is one of my favorite ever. Mark Stockman and Jeff Radich, how they're scaling to 100 million was an amazing talk. Honestly, it's freaking off. That just the events alone, the videos from those is worth God knows how much money.
Yeah, thousands of dollars. And yeah, I kind of started speeding up because of my daughter being there. But yeah, really, I don't want to glance over that either because these talks are amazing. And so is Austin. I mean, what's funny is that everyone was like, the Austin event's like the best event we've ever been to. It's incredible. You know, it reminds us of the first Titans of Direct Response event. It was amazing. And then after Vegas, everybody was like, oh, actually, you know, Austin was great, but Vegas is way better. So these events just keep getting better. But we had so much good stuff at the Austin event too. You even get the videos from my event I did back in early 2018, I guess, where I ran through RMBC, did copy dissection. So that's all in the members area. So you're getting all of that when you're in Copy Accelerator Lite. Plus, you're going to get the live new calls, and you're on those calls every single week. In addition to that stuff, right, there's the actual Facebook group, which you want to go and talk about that part yet, Justin, or do you want to?
Go ahead. Go ahead and talk about it.
So the Facebook group is a huge part of what you get with Copy Accelerator. One of the big differences between Copy Accelerator Full and Copy Accelerator Lite is that you are, as a Lite member, you are not able to post in the Facebook group, which I know sounds kind of like a bummer, but here's the thing. Like when people post and ask questions, it's a ton of work for Justin and I. And that's one of the reasons why we charge, $35,400 a year for Copy Accelerator. And so many people are in it and stay in it. But at the end of the day, you're trying to up level your copy and you're not going to have to pay $35,400 for Lite. It's going to be significantly less, like Justin will talk about in a second. Right. But the thing is, if you go through this Facebook group and you see that people are asking for feedback on different sales letters and sales copy, email creatives, pieces of like content, advertorials, like these are all from today, right? It's an hour ago. More people asking for critiques of things. So even if you can't, you can't ask for feedback in the Facebook group as a Lite member, but being in here and being a fly in the wall where it's like, you're looking at all of these sales letters that like a bunch of high level people are creating and all of these emails and all these Facebook ads and all these advertorials, and you're getting to get your eyes on all that stuff. And then you're going to see, me coming in and giving feedback, or Justin coming in and giving feedback, or Jay DeBolt jumping in and giving feedback, who's one of the best, smartest marketers I know. People are asking questions about freelancing and rates. Like, you don't get to ask questions as a Lite member, but if this just the knowledge base that's in this Facebook group and seeing feedback and critiques and looking at copy and the exposure you get will like exponentially shorten your curve from kind of good to great. I mean, it's bonkers how valuable it is. And a lot of what I do too of my teaching is I do Loom videos. So you'll actually see I shoot videos. So you'll watch me doing videos where I'm breaking down copy, giving feedback to our members, all of that kind of stuff. So that's just like the live trainings, the members area that has the recordings of everything, the Facebook group. But as a member of Lite, you also get the 2 live events per year, which we sometimes sell tickets for. We did for the first 2. I think we charged $3,000 for tickets to Vegas. But honestly, a lot of the reason we sold tickets outside of our mastermind was to help support enrollment into our mastermind. But now our mastermind's full. So like, I don't know. I'm not saying we're not going to sell tickets for the next one, but I'm not sure if we will or not. But you're locked in for the events that we do, and at those events, like Justin said, that's where you're going to get to meet all of these clients. I mean, there's the people in Copy Accelerator do over $1 billion a year in revenue. It's like every big client you can imagine is in Copy Accelerator. And not only do you get FaceTime with those people at those events, but if you want to have Justin and I or our team introduce you to people, that's where we do it. We have like a cocktail party the first night, and you literally can tell us, hey, I want to meet this person. I want to talk to this person. And I will, other people who are in Copy Accelerator now can attest to this. I will drag them over to whoever they want to meet, and I will drag the person, and I'll just put them together, and I'll be like, hey, so-and-so is a great up-and-coming copywriter. You like are doing XYZ, and you could use a copywriter. I want you guys to talk. And so we'll do that all day long at the live events. So that stuff's still included with Light as well. The only difference is with Light, there's a bonus day for full members that you don't get, and there's like a dinner that you for the full members that we can't do logistically for the people in Light. But
Steph, I'm gonna switch the screen back to mine and show. We got like a little 3-minute clip from our last live event in Vegas. It's actually really cool. I'm gonna play that real quick. You guys can you hear the sound?
You can share up a little bit if it's possible.
My news was like the place to be. Unreal the amount of takeaways that you get. That's someone over.
Our goal is to make you better at converting your offer on cold traffic.
The sales rate is converting 9 to 10% cold traffic. So made 30,000 acquisitions in the first month.
That's what this mastermind is about. That's what our events are about.
Really the big goal for everyone is always freedom, right? So if you're a freelancer, by earning more with better clients, you can do less jobs, you have more time, you have more freedom, you're more in control of your life.
It's the best way for a freelancer or a business owner to get connected with a legitimate copywriter, legitimate marketer, and really like take the next step in their business. Or if you're a freelancer, like I said, to just get better clients, better opportunities, make more money.
Everything is focused around things like average order value, upsells, leads, ad creative. A lot of people tend to focus on whatever else it is in their business.
It's a little laggy for me, Justin. I don't know if it's laggy for everybody else.
Moves the needle are ad sales pages, upsells, and getting that offer to actually convert on cold traffic so you can scale it.
As a business owner, when you scale on cold traffic, you have this whole great deal of freedom because your business can really grow.
Stefan's one of the first guys that I really looked at his copy, and it's kind of what's helped to get me to where I am.
What's going on, guys? This is Vince with bshred.com.
Just one little piece is all you really need from one of these to move the needle for your company. And so you can come to these and you can get that one piece, or most of the time it's really like getting 5 or 10 pieces that you can immediately go through the test, and it makes a huge difference.
So it's really all about freedom, and that's what I want them to take away. Ultimately, there's so many actionable things that can allow them to do that, like tools and tricks and strategies, and we teach that all day long. But really, I want them to be closer to achieving freedom in their lives.
So as a high-level copywriter, working on several funnels at once, part of 3 different companies, I become the bottleneck in those companies. And Stefan and Justin have done an amazing job by filling a huge missing gap in our market by providing a pond to fish from when it comes to copywriters. Just in the last week alone, we have like 4 or 5 different copywriters now that we're looking at and potentially going to be working with. And of course, that's going to elevate the speed at which we can get our controls optimized and new controls go up and running, which can be a game changer, obviously. If it's just one person, now we have 4 or 5, we're going to grow the company a lot faster.
I felt really honored when Stefan and Justin asked me to come down and speak at this, and it's been a fantastic group of people, like all these up-and-coming copywriters I'm incredibly impressed by. People that are doing 7, 8 figures in their business. It's been just a wonderful, amazing chance to connect with people, and I've actually learned a lot too. So, which after 15 years in the business is not always that easy to do.
Copy Accelerator, it's kind of like a family. It's like a big family reunion. It's like coming home and meeting all of your relatives who you kind of know, but you just can't help but love them because they're so much like you and actually understand you, support you in everything that you do. Let alone, a lot of them are super successful, super encouraging, and will just encourage you and support you and give you a lot of the guidance needed to get to wherever you want to be.
Stefan and Justin are the best guys in the business. Biggest takeaway, get mentors. Find someone who can take you from wherever you are to the next level. I think that's like the best thing you could do for your career.
There's no other mastermind like it. There's no mastermind with the focus of scaling offers on full traffic, which is literally what makes a business.
The caliber of the room is like every person who's the best at their wants to be it. So it's pretty cool. So you just get the value.
Awesome. Cool.
So
So I wanted to
it
share
was
that.
a little laggy, but it was cool though. Yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to share that real quick to give you kind of an idea of what, like I said, the live events actually really look like. So you get both. Actually, Stefan, you want to keep talking while I pull this up real quick?
Yeah, for sure. And I did put a first link into the letter we did for it. So if people want information, it is in the chat, and I'll probably put it again in a minute. But yeah, that was a good taste, but it's hard to really experience it unless you've actually, been to it and you've gotten to see it for sure. And I know some people asked about with COVID-19 and all that kind of stuff. But we're monitoring it, and I think by October, November, we feel pretty confident and comfortable with running it, running our next event. So we're looking at targeting that for the next one. Obviously, as needed, we'll practice social distancing and be smart about how we approach it and make sure that we're safe and everything. And then, Andrew asked, if you do light when the time is right, can you upgrade to the full version without paying in full? Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, you can upgrade. You would just switch, like, it would start as a new agreement. So basically, if you're in light, you would switch to full. But it does get you on the waiting list because we already have a bunch of people who are, on the waiting list now. I mean, it's not like a ton, but there's because we just got full pretty recently, but there's maybe 6 or 7 people who are now on the waiting list. But the only way, we're going to let people get into full is going to be if they're already in light, because otherwise, they've already taken us, they're already part of our community already. So that's kind of why another reason to join light. But I'll let you go from there, Justin.
Yeah, so just kind of recap. So everything you get in light is the weekly training calls with Stefan and I. You can be in the private Facebook group. You have access to all the past event videos, weekly training calls, and then you can attend both of our live masterminds during the year. The things you don't get compared to the full accelerator, as Stefan said, you can't ask for feedback on your copy or ask questions in the Facebook group. So you can be in the group, you just can't post in the group. You don't get access to, we have a group called High Paying Copy Jobs, where we post copy gigs for our freelancers. You don't have access to that because we want to keep those for the writers that we're actually working one-on-one with. You don't get access to the pre-day members only meeting at the mastermind. So you'll have access to the 2 regular days at the mastermind, but we have a pre-day for members only. You won't have access to that. And then we have a members only dinner at the event. And you won't have access to that simply because of numbers. We're already, between all the members and their spouses and stuff like that, we're already at capacity and have a hard time finding restaurants that can hold all of us. So that's what you don't get. So we stripped out a couple things. But the cool thing is the price dropped pretty drastically for what you're getting. So like I said, Copy Accelerator is $35,400 to join for the whole year. And right now, if you want to join Light, it is $12,500, or you can pay that monthly at $1,150 a month. And that deal is good till next Tuesday, June 2nd. So Steph and I have no idea if we're going to continue offering this, and that's not like marketing BS or anything. We're honestly just doing this as a test to see if people like it and to see if it works. We have no idea. But so far we've had what, 10, 11 people sign up for it already. So yeah, people seem to be interested in it. So, yeah, like I said, the deal is good until next week. Stefan will pop the link in the chat.
Yeah.
So you can check out the sales page. That really gives you all the details and shows you everything. One thing I want to quickly go over is kind of who Copy Accelerator Lite is for. Stefan and I are pretty, unlike a lot of masterminds and coaching groups, we're actually pretty adamant about going after the people who we know we can truly help. Like when we see someone who are like, we're a perfect fit, we'll actually push pretty hard to get you in the group, because we've seen it over and over and again. If we've taken someone who's in a similar spot and took them to doubled their copywriting income or got them to create their first offer. So we're pretty adamant about that. And if you're not a good fit, we're actually very honest and upfront about that as well. If we don't think you're a good fit, and maybe you will be in 6 months or a year from now, we'll tell you that as well. We're not just out to take your money. So kind of who we think is a good fit: copywriters who want to make more money, land better clients, and kind of jump to the big leagues of copywriting. Copywriters who want to create and scale their own offers. So if you want to transition from being a copywriter to actually having your own offer, we can help you do that. And then also offer owners who want to scale their offer to 200, 500, even 1,000 sales a day. That's those are really the three kind of people that we cater to. And we've helped, I don't know, hundreds of people already just in the last year and a half that we've been running this mastermind. So pretty amazing. One thing I do want to show you is a lot of people are like, okay, kind of what kind of results can I expect? We have a thing on our call every single week called Share Your Win. So if you had a win from the recent week, you share it on the call each week. And we made a short little video kind of sharing some of the recent wins just to give you an idea of what kind of results people are seeing in the group. So I'm going to play that for you now. Stefan, let me know if it's not playing right now.
Earned more from like the last 3 months than like 9 months last year. and also right now, like once I finish this last project, almost every project I'm working on is from this group. So it's actually like on top of the investment that I've made here, it's like every single project I'm working on right now is from here. So it's almost like the investment, it's a no-brainer now because my business doesn't work without this group. I think that's a good win too.
Biggest win for sure is, so 3 weeks after I left Team Deadlock, I tripled my income working like less than half the time. And this month I'm on track to double that already tripled income.
So yeah, big win. I haven't done a ton of long form, and so just completing that, the draft of that sales letter last night. I feel like a new human being. The last 2 weeks were very intense getting through that, and now I can see the light. And so, that's just the first one. I know it's all up from here. So I'm really excited getting that done.
A couple weeks ago, Justin gave me a small tweak to add to my upsell funnel for my cold traffic offer. And we've done about 500 sales since then, and the average order value is just over $5 more thanks to that one tweak. So that's given us a lot more cushion with the ad spend. And I'm applying it. We just got another funnel that's rocking on Facebook ads too, and I'm just applying the same thing, and we're seeing good results from that too. So big ups to Justin on that. It's helping a bunch.
Yeah, so that HCL Guard, that page that we worked on with you guys a couple of months ago, we did 4 affiliate tests now, and we're doing like 2 to 250 EPC. And so it's been a really cool kickoff. And the biggest thing is that the upsell just tanked. So that's with like a 12% conversion on the upsell. So just feeling really grateful for you guys and stoked to have something that's starting to work.
So Thursday, I had a financial upsell go live, and the 3 days ended on Saturday night for the launch, and it converted at 21% for $40,000 over the 3 days.
Nice.
And that was
awesome.
on the back end. Thank you. That was on the back end of a $2,000 product. The upsell was $500.
Yeah, so we had a offer that was kind of seeing some fatigue, and we just added this quick little 2-minute demo video and took a screenshot, put that in the email, and we saw it boost from like 2% to 5%. So definitely a good lesson in there. Just use demo videos when you can.
I'm pretty sure Justin's been telling you guys that for like a year and a half.
It was so easy too. Like it took like 30 minutes to shoot this video. We were just in like much resistance around it.
Oh my god! Oh, Justin's on my screen right now. I need to like flip through to find his face to see. Yeah.
Which offer was that, Dan? That was our electric massage pen. This little thing.
Massage pen. Yeah.
Nice. What was the boost you got on?
We were starting to see it dip down to like less than 2%, and now it's at like 5%, which is pretty crazy because it's like a $50 offer. So it's like definitely the biggest victory we've had the straight sale.
Basically increased conversions by 150%.
Yeah,
doing what Justin told you to do a year ago.
It only took us a year to figure it out.
Yeah.
We're a little slow, but get around to it.
No, that's awesome. I'm glad you did it. That's the thing, right? It's like better late than never, and the fact that you added it and that you got that win, I mean, it's a huge win. So it's really exciting.
Definitely a good lesson in there.
So since the Copy Accelerator event, we kind of like restructured our entire business and was really focusing on emailing. And so we did a launch for a brand new product. Did like a good 7-8 days of emailing, which we've never really done before. We're not really big into that, but we ended up netting like high 5 figures and got a huge response, a positive response from all the people on our email list that were excited about our emails and excited to receive them. So yeah, it was a big win for us.
One for an email as well. So we sent a financial offer to our health list, obviously, and it did a 28 ppm in the segments that it got sent to. So I think the total was out of who it was sent to, it was like $23,000 or something like that.
I rewrote a close, and I think we boosted AOV by about a little over $20. And then on it, so we beat the control there. And that was for a joint health offer, and then for a brain health offer, we wrote a new upsell. Also got us a really nice AOV boost as well from having a new upsell.
I wrote an email that sold $11,000 in under 24 hours. So like 50 blankets. So that's pretty
I got a great one. I wrote a email series for my tax block client, for a private or subscription program, $97 a month. We were at like 400 people. I got like 600 trials. And this next week, I'm expecting we're gonna have the biggest payday we've had in their 9 years of existence.
I got one. I rewrote one of Ian Stanley's upsells and got him an additional $20 worth of AOV on his pre-push shipping plan.
Wait, say that again?
I rewrote one of Ian Stanley's upsells and got him like an extra like $15 to $20 worth of AOV.
Damn. That's big, man. What do you know what the AOV was before and what it jumped to?
Yeah, it was like, I think it was like 23 before. Now it's sitting at like 43 to 50, somewhere in that range.
I started and finished like a full funnel sales letter, 3 upsells, 1 downsell, email swipes, and like, I think it was like 10 or 12 days. So usually that's like a 4-week process at least. So super stoked to get this out. Blake and I are hoping that we haven't kind of missed the immunity train. So that's something that we were working on all last week. So kind of it's with the developers right now. So super stoked to be able to get that out. It would not have been possible without this group.
A client that I worked with a few months ago reached back out to me and let me know that I helped her kind of tweak an offer. It was a webinar offer, and help her re-script her webinar. And she let me know that she was doing, she's been doing 8x return on ad spend. So
really cool.
I told her pump more money in.
I think I'm a different person today than I was on the first few calls I came on. Partly because you just become a different person when you've got $7 in your bank account. So today I closed my largest client ever.
Whoa.
Yeah, $10,000 project, 80% up front. Actually, it's the largest, it's the same size as the largest project I've ever done. It's the second $10,000 project in my life.
Who else? Anyone else got a one to share?
So I have one.
Hey.
So the constipation letter that I wrote, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and that was actually for anybody who remembers reading it. That was the one where Stefan looked at it. He was like, I think it'll do okay. And then I was like, well, shit, that means it sucks. So I went back and rewrote it with the outline like next to it. I have IMAX was literally like the sales letter on the left and the outline on the right, and I did it following the actual outline instead of trying to do it from my head. And it's absolutely crushing right now. So we've tested it on, I forget if it's 4 or 5 lists, and it's showing like, I'm like 95% confident that it's going to be like highly scalable. So we're doing a bunch more tests this week, and then this week's kind of like the final wave of testing, and then if it works, like it's easily a couple $1 million if the metrics hold. So I'm pumped.
Awesome. So that was a couple of, like I said, the wins that kind of come up every week on the call. I mean, that was honestly from like the last, 3 weeks. Yeah, so that's kind of the results you're going to expect and that we're kind of seeing in the group right now. Last but not least, if you have any questions about Copy Accelerator Lite, I know Stefan's probably been answering some in the chat. Feel free to pop them in the chat and we will answer them. Yeah, pop some questions in there.
I know, is the Facebook page Copy Accelerator open for all, or is it masterclass attendees only? That group is private. It's just for the members of Copy Accelerator. But let's see here. Anyone else have any questions you want to pop in there? I know I answered a bunch of them going through.
Yeah. So one thing.
I got a good question from Francis. You can go first, Justin.
One thing I just want to remind you, like I said, we're keeping this open till Tuesday. So I think Tuesday at midnight Pacific time is kind of when it goes away. Like I said, we have no idea if we're going to keep the Lite program, keep selling it or not. It's really just kind of a test. So yeah, if you want to get in, definitely get in before that. If you still want to talk to someone too, you could also hit us up. Blake from our team. We'll do a Zoom call with you. He can answer more questions if you got any. No like high pressure sales or anything like that. He'll just answer any questions you have. Questions that are coming in right now. Francis said, I bought Stefan's RMBC course. How similar is it to that? So Stefan as someone who's gone through both of them, Stefan covers RMBC in Copy Accelerator. But what RMBC doesn't have is the other like 80% that we have in the group. So we have stuff on emails, we have stuff on upsells, we have stuff on AOV and conversion rates. We have, like I said, all the past event videos. Like, I mean, you really honestly can't even compare the two.
Yeah.
What is there, probably 100 plus training videos at least?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm extremely proud of RMBC, and I think it's an extremely comprehensive copywriting course. And I mean, it's awesome, but, it's a one-time payment, which is great, but and this is, more of a commitment, but at the same time with Copy Accelerator and Copy Accelerator Lite, it's like weekly trainings, to Justin's point, I do have something on upsells in RMBC, which is awesome. But in Copy Accelerator, there's I don't even know how many times you've gone through upsells, 6 or 7 videos of you going through upsells. There's Jay's crazy upsell thing from the event in Vegas that he's included. It's just way, way deeper. No matter how good my course is, it's just not going to be as deep as a mastermind like this at the live events. And there's just so much more, you get. So it's a funny thing because I don't want to talk crap about my program, and my program is incredible. But it's, this is a full mastermind with weekly trainings, videos, with the Facebook group, with us doing feedback and critiques and you watching us do it. You can't get feedback as a Lite member, but you can watch us doing feedback. It's extremely helpful to watch A-list world-class copywriters going in and dissecting copy. And that's all stuff you get with Copy Accelerator Lite. And then I know someone else may have asked, and no, RMBC is not part of Copy Accelerator, are separate. They're just different things. Justin and I talked about it. It's kind of if you join War Room, but then you're well, why isn't everything else digital marketer ever did free? And it's included. And it's because they're different things, right? This is different. This mastermind is different than my course is. Next event is going to be in Austin. So we know that, it was Austin, Vegas. We'll be back in Austin. The one after that will probably be West Coast. I don't know if we'll do Vegas again or San Diego, Scottsdale, somewhere West Coasty. And then
one thing too to note on the live events, if you were to join any other mastermind, let's say War Room, Titans, any of the good masterminds, you're going to be paying $25,000, $30,000 just to show up at a mastermind. The cool thing about Copy Accelerator is you get to go to the masterminds, and then you also get the live weekly calls. It's pretty amazing value, especially for 12. I mean, honestly, we're kind of dumb to price it so low. It really should be a lot more. And if we open it back up, we probably will raise the price. We did the same thing with the Copy Accelerator. When we initially launched Copy Accelerator, it was $12,000. and now it's $35,000 because we drastically underpriced it. So yeah, the $12,500 price right now, I think, is really a steal, because if you honestly just came to the 2 live events and didn't do anything else, that's just a steal. And I'm not just saying that because it's our mastermind. We have many members of our mastermind who are in the biggest masterminds that cost $100,000 and have pulled us aside and said ours is the best mastermind they've ever been to. So I'm a huge fan of it. Stefan, any questions in there you want to answer?
Yeah. So Andre asked, how long is the weekly training? And then said, how many weeks are the calls? So Andre, it's each weekly training goes for about an hour, sometimes a little bit over that. And it's ongoing. There's no stop. Like, we do these trainings every single week. So we've had the mastermind for about 15 months now, I guess. So you've got 15 months worth of calls. And, for the foreseeable future, the years to come, you're going to have those trainings every single week. I mean, it's pretty wild. Even like when we teach it in different ways, like a cool thing with like RMBC is like I've taught it now 3 times in there, but doing live examples where it's like, let's do research on the call. Like, people will submit what you want me to do research for your product, and like I do it. So it's like that never gets old. The more you're seeing of that, like the better. The repetition, the exposure. I mean, just being in, it's like sitting in, like, even if you're not, like, if you're okay at basketball and then you got put on like the 97, 98 Chicago Bulls team, and like everyone was passing you the ball all the time, you'd make more shots, right? Because you just have, like, you're surrounded by all-stars, and that's what being in Copy Accelerator is, whether it's the full membership or the light membership, which has the vast majority of what the full membership does have. Noah said, would you recommend light program for a French copywriter who's just starting his copy career and hasn't had his first client yet? I don't know. I mean, I think like if you have a good cash flow and you're comfortable, then yeah, because it'll help you to, accelerate things dramatically, right? If you're really struggling and you don't have a client, and you should take what we're applying to this, get some clients, get some cash flow, and then join. Because this will, again, we've given you tools in this training on how to get those clients, and you will accelerate it from that. You'll get so much better. Because back to Justin's first point in this whole talk, one of his first points is that, like, you have to, the better you are at copy, the better clients you get, the higher paying clients you get, the easier it gets. Like, all of that, it's completely true, right? Because go back to, why don't they hire you? They don't know who you are, and they don't know that giving you money will give them an ROI. Well, like, once you're in Copy Accelerator at all, that gives you like a sort of level of status. Then you're going to our events, so people are knowing who you are anyway. But then not only that, but like, if they know that you're being trained by us, like, the certainty that you're going to provide them with an ROI goes up dramatically, because they know that you've studied like RMBC, that you've looked at upsells, that you've got access to all of this stuff. Like, that really helps dramatically. So I don't want people who have a crazy, don't do it if it means you can't pay your rent. But like, if you are comfortable and able to do it, then you should absolutely do it, because it can shortcut things. And thank you also, Noah, for the kind words about RMBC there. Any other questions from anybody on this? I'll put the link in here one more time. Again, maybe you see it like 10 times in your chat, but I see questions coming in, and with my OCD, I like to be able to see the link.
Yeah, so that link Stefan posted is for the sales page for the Copy Accelerator Lite program that we're talking about. You can see all about it. Andrew just said, what about setting up your own offers? I've been a high volume media buyer for years now. I'd love to get my own offer up in the next 3 months. Absolutely. Yeah, we had, I don't know, we have a couple of people in the group who either transitioned from freelance copywriter to offer owner, or from media buyer to offer owner. We 100% can help you with that, because you already have one super valuable skill. If you're good at media buying, you know how to get traffic. You just need the other kind of offer creation copy component to it, which we definitely can help you with.
Yeah. I mean, like, Tom Merritt did that transition. Jeremy Reeves just did that transition. And now he's having, crazy, like, 6-figure months, like, profit wise. Sam Robson's making that transition right now. A lot of people in our group do end up making that transition. It's really cool. Yep. Yeah. Mosicom said, is the way to get a Copy Accelerator full will be to get into light. Is it going to be like that forever? I mean, like, I don't know. What I can tell you right now, because again, light really is like we're beta testing this, and then we're going to stop and assess if we want to keep doing it. So like maybe in like a year or two, you know, if the people who are all on Light, you know, who are on the waiting list who want to get into, because a lot of people on Light have told me like, I really want to get into Full, but I waited too long. I'm an idiot. Not, you know, not that they're actually, but they're like, I'm pissed off. Like, you know, but I'm going to go on Light and be on the waiting list. So and we're not going to expand Copy Accelerator from like 110 people to like 120 or 30 or 40 or 50, because it's just too much work for Justin and I to get feedback and all the things that we do there. So, you know, it may be that in the future there's an opportunity, but it's going to be probably a long time, honestly. You'll probably have to go through Light first, and then at that point, you'll be able to look at the opportunity for Copy Accelerator.
Yeah, for everybody asking, there will be a recording of this call. I'll post it on my YouTube channel. If you're in Justin and Stefan Talk Copy Facebook group, it'll get posted in there. I'll send out an email to my list. I'm sure Stefan will send out an email to his list. So unless you're hiding under a rock, you'll be able to find it somewhere. Any last questions before we wrap this up? Cool. So I just want to thank everybody for coming. I hope this was valuable to you. We try to give out some really good information. And I know, judging from the comments, that a lot of people got a bunch out of it in terms of getting clients. So highly recommend you put a lot of this into action. If you're struggling to get clients, take what we told you, actually implement it. That is the key that most people don't do. So if you actually implement it, and if you get some good results with it, definitely hit us up. We'd love to hear the results. And if you want to join, like I said, Copy Accelerator Lite, feel free to click on the link. Stefan will post it again. If you have any questions about it and you further wanted to talk with somebody from our team, Blake would be happy to hop on a Zoom call with you. Feel free to just shoot one of us an email or a Facebook message, and we'll connect you with Blake. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Glad everybody came. Glad everybody got a bunch out of this. Have a good day, and we will see you next time.
And hey, Dane Heron, I know I said answer your question. So message me on Facebook or something, and I'll answer it for you. Or email me if you have my email address, and I'll answer it. Because I know we didn't answer it here, but I promised you I would. So I want to be good about that.
All right. See you guys. Take care.
Thanks, guys.